Okay guys, now we're going to practice how to evaluate piecewise functions. So here's my function. The first thing you have to do, as always, is to identify the domain of each piece so that you can understand in which of those pieces is the value I'm asking you to evaluate lives. So for example, -3. In which one of these three domains does -3 lives? Because my first piece is all numbers smaller than 5, that means that that -3 lives there. So evaluating the function in -3 means evaluating the function in the first piece. So this is going to be -3 plus 1. This is 4. Now 5. The value 5 is included in my second piece because the domain for the third piece, because the domain of my third piece is x equals 5. So the function evaluated in 5 is 3, the constant function 3. Now 7. 7 is included in the domain of the second piece because 7 is bigger than 6. Thus, evaluating the function in 7 means evaluating the function in the second piece. That means 7 squared equals 49. Another example. For this function, this domain means all numbers except 5. So, if I want to evaluate, and this is obviously only when x equals 5. So when x equals 5, my function is -5. That means if I want to evaluate this function in 5, the only place where 5 is part of the domain is in my second piece. Every other number is gonna be it's part of the domain of the upper piece. So if I want to evaluate f in 0, I would have to evaluate in the upper piece. If I want to evaluate the function in f of -9, I would have to again evaluate in the upper piece. Why? Because this domain is all real numbers except 5. Another example here. My first domain is from 0 included to 1 not included, and my second domain is from all numbers that are equal or bigger than 1. So if I want to evaluate the function in 1, 1 is included in which domain? In this one. Why? Because the inequality is not strict. That means x can be bigger or equal than 1, meaning 1 is included in this domain. Notice that this domain specifies that x is strictly smaller than 1. So evaluating my second piece, evaluating my function in 1 means evaluating my function in the second piece. So this is going to be 2. If I want to evaluate my function in 0, again I have to check for in which one of these domains does 0 resides. And if I check my first domain, x is bigger or equal than 0, meaning that 0 is included in this domain. So I can evaluate this function as 0 squared equals 0. Lastly, if I want to evaluate in 5, 5 is included in this domain because 5 is bigger than 1. So to evaluate the function in 5, I have to evaluate in my second piece, meaning this is the answer. And that's it.